If you want to become more shifty and manipulate defenders like some of the best players in the NBA, make sure you watch this video all the way through, and I promise you by the end of it, you're going to be equipped with more ways to improve your ball handling skills.
It's important to understand that in today's game, all the best ball handlers, they walk that very thin line between carrying a little bit or almost carrying. But in today's game, it is very, very rarely called a carry as long as you look smooth with the ball and you don't completely put your hand underneath the ball. All right, so this is the first drill, and this is probably my favorite ball handling drill to do as far as ball control. I call it the front cuff series. So to start off here, I'm gonna start with the ball in my right hand. There's gonna be 3 steps to this, and then it's gonna continue to the other hand, automatically alternating sides. So if I start with the ball in my right hand, I'm gonna go ahead and put it between my legs on the right side, right back to the right hand to start with the very first dribble. So after I do my front between, then from there, I'm gonna get this ball and I'm gonna go ahead and V across. And then with my next step, I'm gonna go ahead and put it between back to the same side, still keeping it in my right hand again. Okay, so to start off, front tween, V through. After I finish my V through, I'm now gonna grab the ball from here and manipulate it over the top and dribble it right over my left foot. So off the V through, over the top to the left foot, and now from here I'm gonna bring that ball behind the back all the way at the original side that I started, switching it to my left hand. So I go V through, over the top, behind. And now the ball is in my left hand, I'm gonna start the same circuit with the other side. So I go from between, V through, over the top, behind. Front tween, V through, over the top, behind. All right, so this second one is gonna be the back cuff series now. So to start here, I'm gonna start with the ball in my right hand, low and wide stance as always. I'm gonna pull this ball back to my back hip as far back as I can, keeping my hand on top, on side, or the back all the way through. So I pull the ball back, and then from there, I'm gonna push the dribble through, push. So it starts like this. Okay, so we're gonna do 2 of those dribbles to start it off. After I do those 2 dribbles, I go 1, 2. Now I'm gonna go between the legs to the same hand, back again to my right, but I'm doing it from the back this time. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4. After I do those 2 between the legs back to the same side, now I'm gonna go ahead and do between the legs to the other hand, but from behind the leg. So I'm gonna go ahead and do 2 of those. So to review for the back cuff series, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then it starts over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so for this third drill, it's gonna be a wall touch series. So I really like wall touches. Most of the great ball handlers are really good at using their off arm to fight off a hand check or do anything necessary to give themselves an extra advantage with their off arm. So being able to dribble the ball and have complete control while your off arm is active is very important to being a great ball handler. So to start here, I'm gonna do a between the legs dribble. I'm gonna go ahead and do 3 between the legs dribbles actually. All right, so I start with the ball in my right hand. I go between, and the hand that throws it between immediately touches the wall. And I don't wanna touch it here like this. That's kind of cheating a little bit. Let's try to be over the top, because anytime we're doing any sort of hand checking and hand fighting, when I dribble the ball, I'm gonna be over the top, getting his hand off of me. So I go here between, touch, touch, touch. So after the 3 betweens, now I'm gonna do 2 behind the backs touching again. So I go 1, 2, 3, behind, behind. 1, 2, 3, behind, behind. So one more thing I want you guys to focus on while you're doing this drill is shifting your weight with the ball. So as I start here and I go between the legs, I start centered, but as I go between the legs to the left hand, I'm gonna rock over to the left side, and then I shift back with the ball, with every dribble, shifting my weight and touching the wall every time. All right, so this next one here is gonna incorporate a lot more movement and fluidity with your ball handling. So to start here, I'm gonna do a behind the back flow dribble. It's very important. Notice the footwork here. It's just a simple skip over to the side. Okay, so I'm gonna do 2 flow dribbles. Let's make sure that we let that ball hang. Don't be too quick to put the ball down. I want you to complete your float. So you're gonna go flow, float. After you do your 2 floats, we're gonna go into 3 behind the backs. All right, so for this drill, I really like doing the behind the back dribble because in order to get by your defender, you have to first get close enough to them to be able to get your first step by them. But as you guys probably know, the closer you get to your defender, the harder it is to put the ball in front of them. So if we can get really good and really fluid with the ball behind our back, I can get really close to my defender and have much more opportunities to beat him once I get close. Okay, so we start with 2 flow behind the backs. 1, 2. After that, I'm gonna do 3 behind the back dribbles that are quicker. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, and then on the third one, it's gonna be more of a wrap behind the back. So these first 2 behind the backs are straight across, and this third behind the back, I'm gonna go ahead and throw the ball forward. So here again to review, flow, flow, 1, 2, wrap. And then it's gonna start over after that. All right, so for this 5th drill here, I'm gonna take a small piece of the front cuff series. So we're gonna go over the top to the opposite leg and then around the back, and we're just gonna do continuous over the top behind. So over the top to the other leg, behind the back, and then right over to the opposite leg again, and bring it all the way back around behind the back. And I'm gonna try to move with this a little bit. So when I start here, when I go over the top to the opposite foot, which is my left foot here, I'm gonna take a small step with that left foot. And then now when I go behind the back, I'm gonna get this foot back parallel on my behind. And then I take a small step with the right, and then parallel again. So over top, behind, over top, behind, over top, behind, over top, behind. If this video has helped you, make sure you like and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our ILB Elite content. And go ahead and drop a comment down below and let us know what you want to see next.